is this.
What is up, my dogs? It's your boy, Mike Mason. Yo, we're here for another special episode. This one is special because it's about a really unique kind of offshoot of the Champs Glass games. One where the homies did not go to brutal competition head to head. They worked together to benefit a charity. And man, it was just a beautiful time down in Daytona, Florida. The weather was gorgeous. This is one of my favorite events of the year, really. And I'm happy to be joined by a couple of people who were involved. They were with us last week. You know the dogs, man. Let me introduce the homies here. My lovely co-host, of course, Carrie Strope. Thank you for being here with us. And
Absolutely. Thanks
then,
for having me.
yeah, of course. And then representing for Champs, Kevin Dankman and Hugh Salkind. It's really great to have you guys with us again, man. I kind of lured y'all into a couple of shows. I was like, we're doing Champs, baby, kind of thing. So here we are. I really do appreciate you guys joining us again. Kevin, we talked about this on a previous episode, but could you tell us a little bit about this event? I know it was kind of like your baby and this idea of bringing the homies together this way.
It was me and Hugh. It was something that I thought of a long time ago, and I brought to Hugh because he's the guy that actually makes everything really happen. He's the boss there. But since it was going to be in my hometown, we worked together a lot, and it was a lot of my old thoughts from a project I worked on before I got back with Champs when I was still doing Hot Breath, and a lot of thoughts that Hugh, he's been around a long time. He threw in a lot of ideas, and it became something that was different. It wasn't our usual, everyone just comes in battles. We got to enjoy each other's time and space and learn from each other. Uh, all I heard after is what a great experience it was. The glassblowers really enjoyed having a place in the southeast to get together because I saw more glassblowers that I'd never seen before at this show than I normally see at a show. So it
Word.
was really fun, and it was a unique way of getting together. Unfortunately, we won't be here this year. We'll be in Tampa, and we won't have the same opportunity. But we did good. We raised a little over 10 grand. 2,500 went to Eugene Glass School. 2,500 went to the Arts for the Aging, and 5 grand went to the Central Food Bank for Florida. So
That's
That's great.
incredible. Yeah, congratulations, man. Now you mentioned Tampa. Will there be live flame working there, or will it just kind of be back to a normal Florida
We
champs?
are going to have some exciting, fun events that'll probably have some participation, but it won't be live flame working, right?
Oh,
You?
okay. I got you.
Right. As far as I know, we're not going to be able to run torches, but we're definitely going to have glass games there. One of the things that's been floated around is our goblet grab, which is popular in one of our other locations. We can't blow glass, so look forward to something fun like that.
All right, all right. I'm with it. I was already planning a like Busch Gardens like extravaganza trip. You know, I'm a roller coaster addict or whatever. But we'll see or whatever now. No, I'm just playing. And then guys, I'm sure you all are very busy. I'm looking forward to the Masters here in like what, just about a week. I'll be on a plane in about a week. Yeah, are you guys are still not in Vegas and stuff. You're still in the kitchen of cocks
The
as
cop
we
kitchen.
yeah,
Still in skateboard land here,
still in
but
skateboard land. I gotcha. When do you guys head to Vegas?
I think we both get there
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday. All right. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. If you guys aren't familiar, I feel like, maybe somehow this is your first time. Yeah, we'll be, all of us will be out there in Vegas, except for Carrie. Carrie has too many, like, real life responsibilities or whatever. She's getting tired of covering these shows with me. I'm just playing. But guys, this is really going to be a special competition. I think 28 artists now involved. 20,000 for first place. It really, really incredible. I've had the honor of covering this over the years, and I love the regional ones. I there's something special about the like self-contained, do it in 3 hours, makes a great video thing that tickles my heart or whatever. But this Masters is like a whole nother ball game, you guys, and I do my best to cover it. Honestly, it deserves like ESPN there with a fucking camera crew or whatever. But I mean, the incredible lineup of flame workers this year. Man, I'm just thrilled for this, and yeah, this is really going to be good. A lot of these cats that we saw at this event here in Daytona, some of them got their tickets stamped to this event here in Daytona. And speaking of, let's go ahead and pop this off. We've got some really cool stuff ahead tonight. Guys, there are some companies and events and some of y'all out there pitching in that I want to take just a minute to mention. For all of these years now, we've been able to cover so many things, and it's like it's almost impossible that I'll even edit it all at this point. But being able to take advantage of these opportunities, so much of the financial side of it, which is just unavoidable, is covered by these companies, and then some of y'all pitching in. This isn't some big money business. I still go into my pocket a good bit, especially all the days out of the studio I take to edit. I do that because I love what I do and I love what I get to do, but frankly, it's very expensive. These cats really help shoulder some of the burden. It doesn't matter how much my heart beats for this if I can't afford a plane ticket, sort of thing, and or a hotel room or whatever it'll be. So these cats really do cover so much of the back end of this. And you guys pitching in on that Torch Pass thing, that $5 a month, if you can afford that, it would help a lot. The days out of the studio, editing especially, are really where this Torch Pass thing helps me feel like I'm not spending my kids' college fund. Speaking of kids, Amorphous Symphony here. this fine young man. No, he's like an adult, even though they probably really do ID him when he goes in to buy a beer. But man, this is a really cool cat. He shared this incredible technique that y'all are going to see. He said a homie, Glass Engineering, shared it with him, and it's just this trash to cash thing that he's using these nips of color. And he's got just this Maria here that he's stacking them on, and we're going to see him do a few layers deep of these, and he's got them set up into particular color patterns that change throughout the stack. So it might be the same color pattern, but rotated in the second layer. And essentially, this is a matter of twisting it and condensing it and getting it to all become one smoothly, and then doing a blowout on it. And the resulting patterns, and they have this beautiful fade between the colors. It's this organic look. It almost has like a sand art look, but not pixelated like sand art. This is a beautiful technique, and like I said, it's like a trash to cash scenario here where you got all these extra bits of color. This is an amazing way to use it. Here, homie's got this nice wooden thing to kind of separate his bits out and keep them organized. But here he's even explaining to me, he's like, all right, and I've got these patterns here, and the pattern rotates as it goes up through the stack. And I'm not going to make you watch him plug every one of these in here. I'm like Marie Kondo over here. I'm like, this footage does not bring me joy. Or whatever kind of thing. I'm getting better at that. I'd make you guys watch like 2 hours of this in the past, but y'all get the idea. So it's actually, I misspoke. It's 4 layers deep here of these stacked up nips or whatever. Nibs. I don't know. They're not shorts.
And he just kind of did like a chip stack except with shorts.
Pretty much. I mean, but it's all just like a chip stack is kind of forming a piece of tubing with the chips, whereas this is forming a solid puck. There's
this
rods
is solid. That's not
yeah,
hollow.
so now he's getting a bunch of heat into it, and we're going to see him kind of twist it and condense it back in a way that kind of works any air out and ends up with this blank of color. Then you'll see that when it's been twisted, and here he's even mashing a little bit of it at there to really, I assume, make sure air is coming out of it We talked about it at the time. Some of you guys might have even watched this live on our thing, but here you'll get to see it in kind of much higher quality. But yeah, just working his way through this, kind of getting the air out first, and then we'll see him, like I said, twist and condense and kind of turn it into this big puck. I assume that he learned it from me in my Marble Tech demo many years ago, where I used to mix up black and white and make this marble looking solid puck and then do a blowout on it, and it looked like marble. I'm just kidding. Whenever I see anybody do a blowout technique, I make that joke. I do the same thing. Eric Goldschmidt's got like a marble tech that I'm certain he came up with it on his own. He was not sitting at home.
He was watching you and was
watching like webcam era torch talk for ideas. But that's the joke, at least. But yeah, I heard just, man, watch this man work this thing now. See, he's drawn it out a bit, and now he's twisting it up as he goes. It's a little bit like drawing it out, condensing it back, adding the twist. And this was in the thumbnail, and I shared, some pictures of it in the groups. But the resulting pattern here is truly unique. I mean, this is, even if you're not doing it with trash, this is something, a lot of people are probably like, fuck it, let's start nipping these rods up.
Hey, if you only need tweezers and pieces of rod to blow glass, anybody can blow glass, right, Hugh?
Yeah. Oh shit, Greg Hoke's up in the chat with us, my boy.
Yeah.
See a bunch of homies in here. So nice of y'all to join us. Hazy Glass out there at Salem Community College Glass Center. That's what's up. Hell yeah. Rick Markham in the house. Jay Martin. Fuck yeah. Good to see all you guys. Lon Clark, what's up?
Yeah. On a side note, this is kind of what I do with some soft glass scraps from the stained glass studio to make little twisties, except I just put them on steel punties.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. So
we used to make marbles like this by taking the little shorts and setting them down a tube and then evacuating the air and making something out of it. A little bit similar, but a little bit different. This is actually a new take on it. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, man. It was nice of him to share this. And, like I said, the resulting pattern is just very beautiful. Oh, shit, 71 DP0. Dude, thank you for the compliment. Oh, shit. That's what's up. I love it. I can barely read that. And I used to, extract oils and everything. I'm just like, okay, all right. I'm not that far removed. Like a time traveler goes, 100 years in the future and can't understand anybody. This is English, but the hash techniques and pheno test washings, and I don't know about any of it.
Hugh, you're a pimp. Much love from Greg Hoke.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Greg.
Greggy.
Yeah, Greg's a great dude. Always were nice to run into Greg.
I agree with that.
We'll concur. The board concurs.
Definitely.
Greg, you're all right. But yeah, here we go. Now he's going to switch sides here and kind of be able to approach the rest of this. And same deal there, giving it these little mashes here, I assume to, work that air out, anything remaining between the little chunks of cane. Just get worked out naturally there. Something to think about, too, on that end, once it's, totally sealed off, they kind of get trapped. Something to be aware of, even with Marinia, if I'm striping out a build, if, God forbid there's a little tiny airline in there, if the bottom is open, most of the time you can just work that right out and it just vanishes because it can work out towards the end. But if you totally sealed that off, then, the most you can do is, smush it down into one fat air bubble instead of an airline, kind of deal.
When applying lines together, if the glass is generally glowing orange, it'll evacuate most of the air. So if you just get the base glass hot enough while you're applying a line, you usually can get away with being air free.
Yep. Yeah, for me with the Marini thing, that can be a bit of a struggle because I'm trying to keep some, if I'm working on layers where it's the same color, that doesn't matter as much and I can work a bit hotter. But when you're trying to preserve an outline and things like that, it's a very tricky heat game. So yeah, it's like you're trying to work towards that, but not get it quite hot enough to distort as you're applying the, the stripes. So that's most of the time where that happens to me. Like when I'm doing the clear coat on an iMarini and I've striped it in black, and I'm not trying to like push into that too much. It's for me, it's like a color strategy game oftentimes, because if I were trying to do a thin layer of black over this, like a thin layer of clear, the clear is so much more viscous than the black that's extremely hard to accomplish without distortion, kind of thing. So it's like I'm often thinking about, well, I got, can I work off the stiffer color here?
And that's learning your heat base. Learning your heat base is probably one of the most important things we could do, especially when working different colors, like what's going on here. You could actually see him marburing a little bit, and what that's doing is cooling the outside of the glass, so the hot inside he'll actually have a little bit of control over, and controlling the base heat on the piece.
Yep, I like it. And I thought this was an interesting, he's giving it a clear coat here, but he's not striping like concurrently around it. He's kind of going in and leaving gaps and then filling in the gaps, which for him is the way he feels more comfortable. To me, that's like 2 opportunities to trap air. I'm like, oh God, no. But, but
Most definitely.
Right, but everybody's got their vibe that they feel more comfortable with, and especially if it's like line patterns and stuff like that. In that case, I'll definitely do that, because it's so much easier to go around and like clone one on the other side, versus trying to go around and meet the right place. And that was a really important moment, you guys. You saw him flash those tweezers up, and they're like the ones you push on and they expand open. And he just kind of got that thing really hot, and like even like Hugh was mentioning, he's getting it hot and marvering it and letting that heat soak into the core, so that when he jabbed that tweezer in there, it went in pretty fucking far. It made like an incision kind of thing. And now he's made a really thickened up blow tube end here, and he's going to cap that off. A lot of cats will simply establish that bubble with heat, which is, almost like a soft glass technique. But more often when I'm seeing Boro guys who have, kind of gotten over that, they're either using like tungsten on a drill and going into the middle of that, or they're using a tool like that and gouging it and kind of starting the hole in the middle, and kind of saving themselves some trouble on that first step. And especially with a bunch of colors in there, you have that viscosity issue, and trying to just simply expand it out. Like, yeah, I mean, if you get your heat right, it's probably going to go well, but it's going to be harder than just doing like a blowout on a what are those fucking baseball bats called? I'm drawing a blank
Slugger?
right now. The slug, yeah, like doing it on a slugger bar that's all one color. Sure. This thing is full of all kinds of stuff. It's like, I think there's probably a significant advantage to doing that step and getting the tube started centered, and then kind of expanding it from there.
It's called the seed bubble. It's the foundation for the bubble on the inside of the tube. If you create a decent foundation, then your house will grow nice and strong, and the bubble will too.
Hell yeah. Hugh, we need you here every week, baby. We really do.
Yeah, when you watch people do offhand or hot shop work, they always give that one little blow, and that's what that is forming that little seed bubble. And with Boro, unfortunately, it takes so much heat that if you just try to blow on it without creating that little indentation, usually blow out your handle because your handle's too thin. So
Sure.
there, you're really trying to get the seed bubble in the deepest part of the glass. And yes, tungsten works great for that.
Sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he just used like some tweezers you can get in a pack for $3 at Harbor Freight, but tungsten definitely ideal for that.
Yep, anything that works.
And then this was a trick that he was telling me he really likes. He's keeping the clear handle right on the edge of that graphite and using that to kind of cool it down while he establishes heat here. I like that. Another one that I really like is I'll oftentimes just jam on it with with a hand torch with just oxygen going, and I'll try and cool that handle that way. There's a couple different ways to approach this, but in any event, I like this methodology. It's keeping it nice and round. It's giving him this clearly established like border. It's going to sink in just a little bit kind of thing. So we can really work this blank, and you can see it just creeping back right to the edge. And with that exposure dropped, and you can really see that heat band just so exquisitely. I'm not sure who filmed this, but they seem to know what they're doing. I was playing. Yeah, I was chatting.
Cinematography is wonderful.
Yeah, I was chatting with a buddy out at the Tesla Glass. Man, they had a great party the other night with a hash company in the area. I was chatting with Brown Glass and explaining how my camera does that. It's neutral density filters. It's got like a few of them built in. So like it can get pretty dark on its own just via, by dropping the exposure. But it's also got a few different filters it can engage and really allow me to like bring it down to like a shade 5 style thing. And yeah, if you really want to film glass nicely and get that type of shot, those filters are really spectacular for that. A lot of cameras and lenses are coming with them built in now. It's something you got to look for, but it's a lot better than trying to, like if you've got like a traditional camera, like you're going to have to screw that on and like set the shot up kind of thing. Whereas if you can get your camera that has them built in advance, much better if you're really trying to film bright stuff.
Some of us grew up having to order special lens covers and shit to make it work, but I get you, and your camera does it for me stuff, buddy.
Yeah, man. It's and there's something else that I think is really neat actually, and it's made by Diddy Clips. They've got what's called the live stream filter. And I've never used it, so let me be clear. I'm not like out here telling you it's awesome, but on paper it gives you like ring control over the exposure, and they have it to go on like ones that are made for cameras. They've got it made for webcams. They've got it made for phones.
Carrie has a Diddy clip, and she can say it works great.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Diddy clip works great in general. Carrie's got one, and we use it, but the live stream filter thing that they have allows you to kind of darken that exposure on the fly. And I think that's very powerful. It's something I want to add to my kind of repertoire. We've had some trouble live streaming, man. I'm sorry, the last event, you guys, the live stream, my buddy's camera was acting crazy and the internet there was jank. It's given me some pause. Some of y'all were pretty mean too, I gotta say. be nice to the homies who pitch in and help, man. I flew that guy out, and he took like a week off of work, to come out and just live stream for y'all. And yeah, I know it kind of sucked, but nobody needs to be making comments like the guy's got fucking cerebral palsy or something. That was kind of mean. Made me, anyways. The dog. Look at this fucking pattern, you guys. Look at this.
Is that a Mike Mason eye?
No, it's not actually, man.
Okay,
the homie's
right.
making his own.
I know they were flying around Daytona.
They were, yeah. Y'all gonna see some. Yeah, I brought like a tub full of all these test lensings that I kind of just sit on for quite some time. And then this part down here is made by Topher Glass. Original Topher. There's like too many Tophers, man. I don't know why they all chose this Topher name, but he's original Topher apparently, so. Which in itself could just be a name, I'm not certain. But here's Noah Holland, Armor Glass Noah. And some of you guys who've been with us on the channel know this cat before. You've seen him in the Masters. In the back there, Broken Glass Designs, Aaron Johnson. He was filming for a documentary. He's like finding out. I'm like, where's that documentary, bro? Find out what it is when you got to edit footage and take a day out of the studio and shit. But
it's gonna take at least a few more years, I'm sure.
Right, I know exactly. Daytona was gonna be
in college for it.
Yeah, exactly. He's in studio, guys. Yeah, he really is. He's like in school for this. He's like doing all kinds of cool industry stuff. We should be talking about Noah and this incredible flipped image and this incredible look at this giant bubbler. God damn, that thing is hot. But my man, dude, he's like a zombie on The Walking Dead and shit.
Right.
He really is, man. He's like a regular extra on The Walking Dead. He's probably got like zombie groupies, you know? They're like, oh, that's the glass zombie. Hell yeah. Whatever. Anyways, here he is attaching this flipped image. Just giving it a nice seal. I thought that kind of, because he's working at it not from the front. Oh, here's a, listen to Kevin here.
And Joe, and he's still here. Armor Glass, Noah, get your ass up here. You are going to the Masters, my friend.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Some cool homies in the background there. Champs John Mayer, as I call him. Nick, the homie in the back there, the tall dude. And then Dustin Amato, man, the OG homie. Y'all always see me wearing his hats and clothes, and people are always complimenting me on him. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not normally that hip, but my man keeps me looking fresh. So, you know, I have style I don't deserve and shit. All these people are so much cooler. Speaking of cooler people here, this is Steve Cambria, Cambria Glass. Really cool cat. It was great to meet him, and he just might be attaching one of those eyes that I brought to this incredibly sick piece. And it's one of these cats where, you know, there's so many people working, and I'm looking over and I see him doing this beautiful twirled up section of hollow glass, and I'm just like dying inside because I'm filming something else. You know, I need like blinders. So this
Dude,
was
that guy's a freaking boss.
Dude, he really is so good. And I wish I'd had more footage, but I did catch this. I was like, oh shit, he's attaching my thing, and I just dropped whatever I was filming and went and ran and got that. But no, I'm just kidding. This was just an organic moment. But I thought you guys might like to see this really clean application here. And just taking his time and kind of quartering it with that hand torch. And making sure that's a really clean, nice connection, just nice little bridge there. Nothing crazy needed here, you know, but enough to hold it in place so we can really make that a you know, happy and beautiful optical, you know, kind of seal. On a piece like this, you're not playing no games with a little bit of wonk on that. So I just thought this was a really pristine example of attachment. And here he's taking a second to, I mean, he did that a little longer. We cut it, but he took a moment there and really rewarmed that whole area with the joint and where it had been attached and all that, just to make sure everything is hot and happy there, you know? Reminds me of Steve Deppie in one of his talks he was giving, explaining, he's like, look, man, if the shit cracks, it's because it was not hot enough. And it was just unequivocal about that. It was just no weird scenario where blah, 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 none of that shit. If it cracks, you simply didn't have it hot enough when it needed to be hot enough. And he was even explaining that he has laser temperature guns on the bench at Mothership for everybody who works on the lathes and everything, so that when they start a move that's sensitive, they know it's already in the zone. They're sure of it. And there's just no excuses about it being hot or not, kind of thing. And you know, that's I mean, it's like, it sounds cute, but like when Scott Deppie says that shit, it's like, write that shit down, you know, and really think about it when something happens, you know, like, should I have had that transitional area hotter, you know, whatever it'll be. Doesn't mean everything always needs to be fucking ripping. It just means that those areas that are prone to temperature shock or thermal, you know, or mechanical shock, because you've got something there with a sharp edge or whatever, you already know that shit. Did you have it hot enough then, you know, when it needed to be? Anyways, this is Decal Glass. I'm not certain what he did. His Instagram seems to be broken right now, but really cool cat. Very skilled assembly person here, man. The recyclers he makes are fucking nasty.
There was
Yeah,
really,
the glass has a way
really
of telling you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, the glass has a way of telling you when it's unhappy. It tends to crack. It's talking to you. It's telling you it just made itself a lot happier. And I hate to say it, but most of us are paid to break glass. At least
I like
those glass
that.
blowers.
I like that. But guys,
Sorry,
I thought, yeah, go ahead, Kevin. What were you adding?
Oh, I was gonna say there, like, guys like Decal and a bunch of these guys that came out for this, like there was definitely a lot more talented people just hanging out to have fun and enjoy and blow some glass.
Yep. Yeah, it was cool, man. Yeah, you were mentioning earlier, like I had the same experience with meeting a lot of like southeastern glass blowers who, even when I lived in Virginia, you know, they just never made it up that far, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really amazing opportunity to meet so many people who I hadn't had the opportunity before, and now I'm going to get to meet some of them out at the Masters again, like Enjoy and Prosper. This was really great to meet him. Here's somebody it's always great to see at Champs. Della Luna, her and Chris Shaba, man, they're always just like the coolest cats. I came up on her here with this little hammer or whatever, and just doing some finishing moves. But what I thought was really cool about this clip that I thought y'all would dig, look at this. She's just flashing this. What? That cold seal. You know, there's some cats like Gonzo who are like really big cold seal kind of advocates, and they work serious stuff off of these cold seals, and it allows them to have this incredibly clean exit at the end. And I've seen some of those same people drop some amazing shit on the bench as a result, but generally speaking, they're pretty fucking good with it, and it always impresses me. I'm too scared for that shit. There it is. Also sporting a Mike Mason eye. Fuck yeah. Yeah.
I have one laying right over there. I can't reach it, but it's laying right there.
Love it, man. Now here's Empty One Glass. Mike. Not really cool cat. He didn't seem very empty to me. But no, I'm just playing. But like, look at this rig, you guys. And I thought that what he was doing right here was a really cool highlight to share, because he's got this kind of combined methodology here where he lays in, like he establishes some core heat with the big torch, and then you're going to see him kind of work his way through this thing with the hand torch and kind of control where gravity is letting it droop. And this is how he's achieving these really sexy bends here. See, he's just kind of heating it back and gravity is bringing it down. Really, really interesting methodology here. He's kind of working it low and slow or whatever, you know, like barbecue over here or whatever. Speaking of, there was an amazing barbecue spot like on the way right in between the hotel and the venue, and they'd have you a plate out in like 5 minutes. It was amazing. Shout outs to that barbecue spot.
It's one of the two spots I go to on a regular.
Word. Yeah. That place is good.
Yeah, Haven is that one, and then there's another one out by the Home Depot. That's good.
All right. Yeah, that was on point.
Yeah, barbecue was good.
Now, here's Glass Monkey, a really, really skilled glass worker, actually. And what he's doing here, you guys, he's making a section of tubing that is like fade to clear or whatever, but not like in the vac stack sense. He's actually going to do it kind of montage style by setting up this nice and calm mode between a section of crushed opal tubing and clear, and then he's going to change the axis and pull it down to a tube that is straight up half clear, half crushed opal. So you can actually see the crushed opal through both sides. It's fucking awesome. I thought this was a really neat thing to share. You could even see him there kind of condensing that a bit, you know, like really slickly, just kind of notched it in the Elm over there and gave it a little smudge back. You could tell this dude is like really good at controlling the glass and has a good feel for it, really good hands. You can like see the skill. It's funny how like a silly move that looks almost a little weird is like an indicator of skill to me. I'm like, nah, dog, that was the touch right there. It's about knowing what the glass is going to do and knowing that, you know, you just need it to condense a bit, not necessarily perfectly, because he knows what he's going to do next, all that. I thought this was really smooth here. He's really condensing this into a nice, very clean, just straight up half and half section that's going to make for a nice, even section of half and half tubing. And that's just like not easy either. Like that black, I don't care what black it is, that's got to be significantly more stiff than that clear. And it's that heat-based thing Hugh was talking about earlier, you know, when you have control of it and you know when to make these moves, you know when the other side is right versus the other side, and still difficult for me at times.
Term that everybody should be familiar with, the viscosity of glass really makes a huge difference, and that's what's making it be able to pull this off, is being able to work with the viscosity of the clear with the color. And anytime you adulterate clear to make color, which is by adding metals to it, it changes the viscosity quite a bit because you're actually changing the structure of the glass. So being able to work two different colors, especially on this type of access, is incredibly difficult to make look good.
Yeah, I agree. Well said.
Well, he definitely clipped it, and the viscosity was right there.
Okay, Carrie mentioned the Griffin hand torch valves in the chat. I don't really think they actually regulate pressure down, but like they will reduce the flow. And I run my the Mad Hatter Bunsen, and I think the newer ones are a little more flexible, but the older ones, like anything over 10 psi, and they're a little finicky.
On the floor by mine.
So I run the hand torch off of those, and then one of them a Y splitter to run the the Bunsen, and I do find it helps. It's definitely nice. You can kind of just crack them and cut that velocity, especially at times when if I'm doing Marini with the striking colors, I'm running, you know, like 10 on there and then like 75 or more on the oxygen, just to keep it really pristine as I go. And so they do help. I just don't think they're like true regulators, you know, like an inline regulator would be ideal. But and here, look at Glass Monkey go here. It's just really letting that glass kind of do the talking on that with the way it's flowing and everything. He's not forcing it, you know, he's just kind of letting it move, and he's getting this beautifully even section of tubing as a result. And look at it, that thing is straight up, half and half, crushed opal, and then clear. I think that's an amazing technique, especially with tubing like that, where, you know, like it's something where it would just be so ideal to see both sides. It's a really neat way to get there. All right. Now here's a young man. I don't know if you guys have ever seen before. He's pretty fresh to the game. If he keeps this up, though, I think he's got a path. I'm just playing, guys. This is Hugh. And what you guys are about to see is, dude, Hugh, maybe you could just speak on here. I shouldn't even narrate this, man. Could you tell us a little bit about the background on these skull marbles and the motif?
This technique was taught to me by the person who taught me how to blow glass, a guy named Bob Snodgrass. If you're not familiar, look him up. And at the time, this is how he made his skull marbles. This is not how he does it anymore. This technique goes back to the early 90s. And I'm taking a piece of standard wall tubing and drawing a face on one side of the standard wall tubing. And that's what's going on right now. I'm bracing my hands because I'm old and shaky. And this is how I get a little bit of fine detail. Looks like I'm doing an eyeball, which is just a dot over a dot.
Yeah, you did the one, you fumed it first and then did the 2 dots for the eyes and then fumed again and then dotted over it. So it's got that depth to the cavity or whatever.
Yeah, I actually fumed with gold first to do the center of the eye. And then I fumed silver to do the rest of the face. Gives a little more 3-dimensional look. And it's just a little bit of a spin that I put on it.
Okay. Here's the teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, you do the eyes, the nose, the teeth, and then the orbital socket and the jaw. They're just kind of hard to see. It's all just a little bit of lines and dots on a small piece of tube. Yeah. And actually done in an exaggerated form because it's going to be collapsed down and to make something a little bit more legible. That's the nice thing about working very thin tubing is you can collapse it down and make something out of it that might be a little exaggerated to begin with. If you want to draw really small, or write names really small, start on something thin and shrink it down.
Okay. Carrie's over there taking bong hits or something, huh? On display.
Yeah.
We hear you. On display.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought this technique was really cool, especially they'll see it in a second, but this actually gets applied to the clear on the big gather and then blown out on the back to get rid of the tubing. I thought that was neat. Is there a reason you do that versus just doing it on rod?
Yeah, because it gives a little more three-dimensionality to it, and it's just the way that I was taught in the first place. But
Okay.
if you want to make something kind of round and concave, that's kind of what I'm doing. It gives me room to fill it in. When Bob does these nowadays, he actually takes the tube and makes it into a solid rod. So yeah, that's it. And so it has changed a little bit over the years. This is just a way to transfer a tube to a rod, make it into a solid.
That's cool. How often do you and Bob get to work together these days?
I just saw him the other day. We live in the same town. We see each other quite a bit. We don't work as much as we probably should, but that is, I don't know. We're both working people, so we tend to have fun when we're together and not think about work so much.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you're in Eugene, is that right?
Yeah, I'm in Eugene. So is Bob.
Yeah, you guys do a good job of like hanging out there, man. I was impressed when I was out there at how often people got together, and we're more social than some towns. Some of these places, some of these cats who are friends, even though they're local, like they hang out more at trade shows than they do in town, and it's always tripped me out. I'm like, oh man, okay.
We
Won't
try
be seeing
to
those
have,
guys.
we try to have a sense of community out here. And actually, a lot of people from out of town come to our parties and I always ask, you're all glass blowers. Why aren't you blowing glass? And we try to tell them we do it every day for a living. When we're hanging out together, we're not always blowing glass. Sometimes we're just enjoying ourselves.
Yeah. You gotta find that balance.
There, I'm just taking off a little bit of the extra tube.
Yep. Yeah, so now you've got a nice cavity that you can fill in, and I can see how it lends itself to adding that depth. Back in the day, how many people were making these, like similar type of things? How many people did Bob teach to do this?
Originally there was 13 apprentices. I was the first one. But on the official apprentice list, it went to 13. Now there's more people on it. So there's a couple people who have come along over the years. So I'm not exactly sure, but almost all the Bob apprentices did a skull at one time. He was the one who came up with this design, and we all kind of took a little bit on ourselves to try and do it maybe a little bit differently.
Right.
So yeah, there's a handful of people out there doing it. If you do this now and put it online and say you just came up with it on your own, a lot of people will tell you differently. So I wouldn't suggest going that route.
Right.
But also, it's more of just like the Snodgrass family crest to a certain extent.
Right, that was always, if I see that, I assume it's Snodgrass or one of his apprentices or somebody related. But
generally it is. We all have skulls though, so
yeah.
Something that's familiar to everybody.
And I'm sure these were hot movers back on the lot back in the day.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, actually, it's a evolution of a smiley face. Bob used to make smiley face pipes and got on Grateful Dead tour and decided to make some skull pipes instead of smiley face pipes.
Nice.
And I'm not exactly sure the first year he did the skull, but I want to say it was the mid 80s.
Oh, wow. And here you've got a section from another OG. He's hanging out over there to the right, Jerry Kelly, like an OG Marini baller and one of these industry legends. So you've got one of his Steely Marinis there that you pre-warmed. Now you're going to grab it and apply it to the back and kind of make this into a collab marble.
Yeah. I like putting something behind the skull. It gives you something to look at inside of the piece.
Okay, I like it. And yeah, this was a great time. We were live for this demo, and I remember we were telling some great stories. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you guys go back to that footage, there's some really cool stuff in there.
This is after hours, right? As everything was wrapping up. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. I think this was normal hours. Champs guys are pretty good. The only time I think there's really been some serious after hours stuff was that time at like that summer show when Marcel was doing that build. And he just went like hours late, like not giving a fuck. And like I remember like all like the big employee dudes were standing there like mean mugging. It was a scene, man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Chicago went pretty late.
Chicago did go late, yeah. It's hard to shut guys like Yushin down. He was like, arf, 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 got all DMX. I'm just kidding. Yushin would never do that. But
I think that Marcel incident you're talking about is probably the latest I've ever stayed at Champs. One of them.
Isn't that the one he got lost on the way walking to the airport?
I think sometimes people need to be rescued. I'm not sure if that was the time, but occasionally we all got to rescue a friend.
yeah.
We're that kind of people.
Right?
And it's an easy town to get turned around in when you go for a walk.
Yeah, you get in the wrong area and it's just crazy.
I've gotten lost in between the Tuscany and when the Hard Rock was around the corner. So,
Were there substances involved?
I mean, it's Vegas, so it stays there, buddy.
Are there just substances in the air in Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get a jaywalking ticket.
All right. Yeah, no, they just let you get hit out there. Cops don't care about jaywalking.
Oh, they sure do. They sure do.
Oh, really?
I suggest anybody who's going to Vegas do not walk from the Tuscany to the Hard Rock. The Hard Rock is not there anymore, so you can't, but it's called the Virgin now. And in between those two is another Neverland you don't want to go and explore.
Man, there's some rough neighborhoods around the Tuscany, man. It's
stay on the sidewalk.
Yeah, it's like
stay on the sidewalk. Don't cut through parking lots.
yeah, man.
And platinum, although a good metal, does not really mean it's a nice place.
Oh yeah. That is the
Latinum Hotel.
That is the wine bar next to the Tuscany, as I recall.
Nobody really knows. We just make fun of it.
Some of my friends know.
Okay. You got braver ones than we do.
I know. They're braver than me, man. It's not my scene, so... But, no hate. We love you, Tony Casey.
I mean, I've been kicked out of some really nasty places, and I still haven't gone into that place. I was with Abe one time. I got kicked out of the worst strip club in Portland. He said, nobody gets kicked out of this place. Of course it was me.
Wow. After hours, Kevin gets crazy, huh?
Yeah, jeez.
It was Inner D. It wasn't me, but yeah. It was a lot of drunken debauchery and hookers, strippers carrying around really expensive glass pieces and one trying to take one home with her. And
Kevin wasn't having that.
Yeah. Well, this is why me and Carrie just go to the hot tub every night. And yeah, that's where you'll find me after Champs every day, you guys. I'm gonna see if they'll give me one of those rooms that's right by the other hot tub, the one at the gym. Like one time they gave us a room right by that shit. It was crazy. Like hell.
Yeah, that's the good one.
Is it? Okay. I didn't. Yeah. Well, it is. It's definitely more secluded. I should shut up about it. But whatever. We're gonna turn that into the Torch Talk Cabana party or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be like 50 degrees.
That's perfect for me in a hot tub, dog.
Yeah, y'all are welcome. I'll be in a room or somewhere.
I'll be drawing a warm bath in my 80-degree hotel room or whatever. I'll tell you though, man, we Carrie normally has this travel humidifier, which is nice, it just takes like a bottle or whatever. But that thing broke after many years of faithful service. And this time I just brought my like real humidifier, and we had that room straight Florida, dude. Like, it was awesome. Like, I'm never coming to Vegas again without my full-size humidifier. It was something special.
Tropical.
Yeah,
So you know what's really good about hotel showers is you can turn them on scalding hot and leave them on as long as you fucking want.
Yeah.
So that's how I've always fixed the problem. Is just
Lord, you just sleep with your shower on hot all night.
Turn on the air. You turn on that thing blaring hot.
Yeah.
And just let it run for a couple hours and go back to bed.
Eco Dankman advice.
Yeah.
It's just other people's pee.
Don't pass out in the shower and then have you woke up by security later for the puddle that goes into the hallway. That's all.
Don't get drained.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, that thing is sick.
Cute little skull. Looks like an owl too.
Very cool. Yeah, the other trick you can do if you don't want to run the shower continuously, you can just get a bunch of extra towels and leave them around. Just get them soaking wet and like lay them out over some chairs and shit, and that'll naturally bring up the humidity a bit. But the real move is to simply bring a full-size humidifier and be balling out like me and Carrie. Because trust me, you walk in the room and it's like steamed up in there, and you're just like, oh fuck yes, this is the way to do Vegas, kind of thing. So yeah, and guys, the companies that help me do Vegas or whatever, seriously though, these events and companies and you homies out there pitching in, it's really made all the difference. It's truly what's made this coverage possible over the years. I'm not some rich dude, and this thing doesn't bring in, it's not like a profitable business. This is a labor of love, and the love coming from y'all out there pitching in $5 a month, and these companies pitching in every month has truly made it possible for me to cover so much and for us to have this time together. It's I really dig it. I think back, and hundreds of times now we've gotten to get together and watch something really cool and honor these events and these artists, and I'm stoked with what we get to do here, and it means the world that these cats all see the value in it and help me make it possible. So fuck yeah, huge love to all these cats, and especially y'all pitching in on Torch Pass. Yeah. Hell yeah, and thanks to this amazing panel who was with us tonight, adding dank commentary, and thank you guys for making this event possible and giving me the opportunity to come out and cover it and let us have this time together. I really appreciate all y'all, and Carrie here every week helping me do this party, man. I really appreciate you as well. Carrie, would you want to tell them a little bit about your residency and the shirt you're wearing and stuff?
Right. Yeah, this is my my Keith Haring shirt, because I'm working with some elementary kids right now on a collaborative mosaic mural. We're doing a Haring inspired piece. So we talked about graffiti today, and we drew our own graffiti and got to glue in some glass and cut in some mirror. Exciting stuff. Yeah,
Carrie's got these kids ready to tag buildings and cut glass and all that. A very good influence.
All they need to know is how to crack a safe next.
Right. Yeah.
Right, exactly. They can hang out with Kevin Dankman and pick up some good tips.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Well, you guys, I wanted to just give one more shout outs for what we're all about to be doing next. Next Tuesday, I will actually be on a plane, so I don't think we'll have a show next week. But we're going to be out here at this. I might set up some live streams. I'm going to probably do some testing in the morning privately and just see how it goes. And then maybe there'll be some live action on the Torch Talk channel if I can make that happen smoothly. I'm just kind of over promising anything. I really need to get there and do a test and then watch the test and make sure that you guys don't tune in for some bullshit or whatever. But this event is going to be amazing. This lineup is incredible. Some amazing people on here. I know you guys have seen on this channel. I mean, most of these people you guys have seen on this channel at this point. We have some amazing stuff coming from Charisma. Wait till you guys see the piece he made in Daytona. Oh man, there's just so many cool cats here that I'm really happy to catch up with, and happy to see Throwdown. Joe P, man, God, we've gotten to see so much of Joe P this year.
True.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he comes up with too. Man, I feel like he's been warming up throughout the year too. It's like every time I see him, he's like a little more comfortable and kicking even more ass. I mean, he was already good. Don't get me wrong. It's just like I've watched him like just like warm up to being live with a bunch of people and shit over the past year. It feels like, and he's just such an incredible artist. And
too, though.
What's that?
You got Jop and BMFT in there. Old school sleepers, man. Like,
yeah,
those two cats could pull out some shit. They've been here before.
yeah. Brendan's the man. To get to see him at Melt many years kicking ass, and yeah, man. This is really going to be something special. I'm very excited to help come out and cover this, and we're going to do another proper special for this, you guys. We did one years ago, and then honestly, it's an editing challenge, so it's been difficult to do another. But I really want to nail this next one and give you guys a proper look into this. And with less artists, I think it's going to be a bit more manageable and result in something really nice that I think you guys might be able to watch and maybe even share with your friends and family and, let them see what's going on here. Because truly, this is, I mean, they got this like Blown Away show and all that bullshit, but like this is seriously as crazy as it gets. Borosilicate glass competition. So I'm just thrilled to be out there. Thanks so much to everybody who joins us and makes this a community thing and makes this a special and fun thing for us. I'm so glad we get this time together. I'm so glad we had this time together, you guys. It really is always a pleasure Carrie's
Super
my
fun
girlfriend, but Kevin and Hugh, you guys are the shit. I really do appreciate y'all. And
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yep, hell yeah. All right, well, I'll leave you guys to the parting words. Good night, everybody, and I'll let our panel send y'all off.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks for joining us.
What?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jeff's giving away. Our boss, Jeff Hirschfield's giving away more money than the Blown Away show, so just be aware of that.
I know.
Hey.
This is really it. This is the one that needs to be covered. Anyways, I'm going to do my best. Appreciate you guys. Every one of y'all have a great night. Much love.
Peace out.